The Bamboo Project wholesaling video starts in 3, 2.
Welcome to the Bamboo Project YouTube channel. My name is Donivan Gray.
And my name is Melissa Burnett. We currently have over 300 videos on our channel of our Dr. Sebi inspired diet, travel vlogs, sports, music, clothing, podcast, beauty, and everything us. We live in New York City, and this is episode 17 of our virtual wholesaling series, where we give weekly updates on our journey to close our first deal.
We started this series for people who want to get into wholesaling, who don't have any mentors, who don't have any money, and wanted the perspective of people just starting out. Today is March 4th, and this is last week's update. So, you want to go first?
Okay. So, I want you guys to guess what I did this week for wholesaling. Ain't you wrong, because I did something this week. So, this week, well, I did say last week that I was going to try and devote 2 days to wholesaling. So the week has not ended yet, but I already put in 1 day of work for wholesaling this week, and that was yesterday. So what I was expecting to do was what you guys saw on the screen if you watched last week's video, which is look for property. PropStream has like a lot of cool features. You can put in a city or an area that you want to look at, and it'll have cash buyers in that area. So you would just kind of have to put in the filters that you want. So what we put in is that we were looking for cash buyers that typically pay around $100,000 to $400,000 for their properties. We were looking for cash buyers that bought their houses within the last year, and just things like that, so that I know that I'm getting someone that has actually bought a house recently, someone that may be interested in getting another property in that same area, so stuff like that. This time I was just looking for cash buyers without an actual subject property on hand, which makes it kind of trickier, but we'll talk about that a bit more later. I just kind of want to get into how I was using PropStream to find the cash buyers. So what I would do is I would go to the property, and then it would have either the buyer's name or maybe the LLC that they used to get the property. And then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, it has what their mailing address is, which is very important, because a mistake that I was making at first was I was putting in the subject property as the address for the person, for the buyer, as opposed to putting their mailing address, which is more accurate. Sometimes they don't live in the same place as the property that they're buying. So it's just, like I said, a better way to focus in on who you're trying to get onto the phone. After using their actual mailing address into True People Search, they'll give you some phone numbers that you can use to skip trace, as opposed to for free, as opposed to paying for it, because you know we all about not really paying over on this side, trying to wholesale for free. I think the numbers are pretty accurate. I have gotten a few dead numbers. I have sometimes it has like 10 numbers, and they can all be people that's either related or close to the same person that you're trying to call. And I think the first number is typically the number that's associated with the person that you're trying to find. Even though there was a few dead numbers, I also did get like the actual voicemail for the people that I was looking for, which was good to see, because I wasn't sure if this site actually works. And I'm familiar with the fact that a lot of people actually don't like when they try to do skip tracing, or they try to look for the cash buyers on PropStream and they come across LLCs. I know that it's like, oh my gosh, you know, it's hard. You can't skip trace the phone number. You don't know who it belongs to. So something that's very helpful, honestly, with the experience that I had yesterday, I kind of like LLCs more than I like finding just like a name there, because a lot of the times if it's an LLC, they may have a business page or a Facebook page associated with it, because that might be their, you know, day-to-day job, or, you know, it might be an actual established we buy houses firm or something like that that it belongs to. So when I come across those, it's very helpful, because they already have they typically already have their email and their phone number on a Facebook page or on their website. You call them up there, I'm like, yes, hi, I'm a wholesaler, I'm looking for someone to unload my properties on, and they're like, okay, sure, what do you got? Which is the problem that I kept running into. I'm gonna get to that again later. So don't get too discouraged when you see that there's an LLC there. It might be actually easier to find a phone number that that works and that's directly connected to them, they're not as annoyed with you calling them because that's their business line. So they're expecting people to call them about buying houses. So that's what I really liked about it. It's easier to just jump into the conversation as opposed to someone that's like, where did you get my number from? How do you know who I am? What do you mean I bought a house? Some people do open up LLCs that are not connected to like an actual business. It's just what they do their transactions with. That's where it kind of gets a bit tricky as well, because since they don't have a phone number and everything associated.
What do you mean?
So some people might just open up an LLC just so that they can do their real estate like business with, but it's not something that they're actually marketing. So there's like LLCs that are set up because they want you to call them, they want you to give me the houses, but some people, they just make an LLC, you know, for tax purposes and everything.
Okay.
So so you can't sue them or whatever if the deal goes bad. So with that, since they're not actually marketing and they don't want people to really call them, it's just, you know, for their tax purposes. The way that you would go about finding them or trying to get them on the phone directly would be, you would look up their LLC on Google, and once you do that, it typically has a page where it tells you who the registered agent of the company is. Now, if they registered their company themselves, it'll typically have their name and everything, and then you could just skip trace the name and the mailing address for the business, and that'll get you in touch with that person. Now, if you use something like LegalZoom or one of those like Rocket Lawyer or something like that to set up your LLC, it's not going to have you as the registered agent. It's going to have the LegalZoom company or whatever they do that through. So that's the only time it really hit a wall with the LLCs. But other than that, typically it's very common for the person to register the company, register the LLC themselves. And if they didn't register it themselves, they typically have like, and if it's not that case, then they typically have the business page for you to check out, which I think is cool. So I got in touch with 2 people yesterday that would be interested in the properties that I would send them. Only one of them submitted back the survey that Donivan has for his cash buyers, which is pretty cool because that's one more person than we had the day before, and I still had the contact information for that other person. So even though he didn't fill out the survey, it's kind of like, if I have a property that I think that he might be interested in just because he's in that area, I just shoot it by him like, hey, what do you think, and then see what happens. So that's pretty much what I did yesterday. Donivan gave me the task of finding 15 cash buyers, which sounds fine at first, but when you get to phone number 133 and half the people haven't picked up the phone and whatnot. 7. It was not 7. It was not 11. I called mad people yesterday.
You called 133 people yesterday? I
didn't call 133 people.
You called 50?
Listen, not everybody has the phone number there. So, but I called mad people. I have the receipts. I have mad random phone numbers in my phone as the receipts. But that's pretty much like some hacks or some free game on the cash buyers and how to get them. So Donivan, now I'm gonna pass it on to you.
Okay. The week before last week, I talked about a property on York Street. And I was saying I used a mortgage contingency to get out of that property. And I was kind of having some problems last week trying to get out of it, but everything right now seems fine. The lender for the property actually called me and said that the title company called him to ask if the property was still being purchased. So that's when he contacted me, and I'm like, nah, it's not. I actually thought the agent on the property contacted the title company to get the information of the lender to verify whether or not the mortgage was approved. From my interactions with him and the lender and the title company, that doesn't seem to be the case. So free and clear, didn't put down any EMD money. Again, pretty good at doing that. I've had probably 5 properties under contract which I had to let go. No EMD money was ever put up. I had a conversation with one of my friends who does real estate in Jersey, and mostly Jersey, I think it is. And the whole cash out refinance thing, for whatever reason, I don't know why there was some type of miscommunication about how I understood those things to go, but I thought when you do a cash out refinance, the money that you get back is the money that is just a profit on the deal. So what I mean by that is, let's say you get a property under contract for $100,000, and then you put $30,000 into it, and now the property is worth $200,000. right? I thought if you do a cash out refinance at the ARV of 200,000, you would get back 70,000. That's what I thought. That isn't really the case. How it works is that you also get back whatever money you put it into the deal as a down payment. So if the property is $100,000 and you had to put $20,000 as a deposit for the lender, you would get back that $20,000 deposit plus the $70,000 that came from the equity in the property because of the new ARV. I didn't know that. I just thought you only get back the money that the property is worth now subtracted from what you paid for it. I forgot about the deposit. So the reason I bring that up is because that really allows you to move that money over and over again to buy another property. Because let's say that you do a deal and you only make $10,000 on that deal, but you had a deposit of $30,000. You get back your $30,000 plus that 10. So you turn your 30 into 40, and you could take that money and put it on another property and get a bigger property, or a larger return on your investment once you do that. So that was kind of, I don't know why I didn't understand that. I don't know how I didn't see those two things. But as talking to my friend, he explained that to me even more. I was talking to somebody from YouTube yesterday, and his name is Atum. He was telling me about TruePeopleSearch.com and Been Verified and some other free places you can go to more or less skip trace people's phone numbers. And he had learned about it from the Wholesale Coach. Me personally, if y'all are new here, I'm not a fan of the Wholesale Coach's channel, but I think this is very valuable information. I don't really like, I guess, the production or the editing that he has on there. And also like his personality is not really, I don't really think it suits mine. So it's just kind of like, when I watch the videos, I kind of go, it's kind of cringy. So I don't really like to watch it personally.
It's kind of spicy.
I mean, I don't think nothing's wrong with him. I just feel like when I watch the content, I feel like he's selling, and I don't think his personality, from what I see on the videos, unless I meet him in person, I don't think it meshes well with my personality. But with that being said, I do think that the information is very valuable as far as finding people to call for free. I went on True People Search, Been Verified. There was like 4 of them. If I remember them, maybe I'll say them later. That's very valuable content. I've even had a video before on here where I talked about using one of the things that he said, or one of the techniques he said to use. So I definitely think that he has valuable information. One thing I'm just not a fan of is just people trying to sell stuff. That's just me. So we found a lot of free places to skip trace for, and that became very helpful because I really hate skip tracing, because on PropStream it gives you a bunch of random numbers for people and random emails and stuff, and it's like you don't know if it's their number, you don't know if it's their email, they may not answer, and it's just, to me, I don't really like it. You don't know a lot of stuff when you do it. So personally, from our experience yesterday when Melissa was doing it, it seemed like she was able to get back a lot of actual people's numbers, and maybe they didn't answer the phone, but it was their number. You definitely want to start building out cash buyers list, because over the last couple of weeks, I have started leaning more towards it's better to have buyers than deals. And another thing I talked about with Melissa today, as far as calling cash buyers, we'll refer to them as cash buyers as opposed to investors. And it just sounds better, in my opinion, to call them an investor. Like, hey, expanding into this area, in this case, Atlanta, and we are looking for investors in this area. So when we do have properties to wholesale, we can have people who want to buy them. And then I feel like it just sounds better. We haven't tried it yet, but that's just my opinion on it. So that's kind of been what we've been doing a lot of this week.
That helps with the not having a property on hand when you call them, because that's the problem that I've been running into, where it's like, okay, hi, I'm looking for a cash buyer and everything like that, and they're like, okay, what's the property? And I'm like, fuck, I don't have property. So if you use the example that Donivan gave, like he just said, we still have to try it out. But I'm assuming that it would work better by saying, hey, I'm moving into this market. I'm looking for investors, so that, once I have these properties ready to go, I know who to send them to, and have that conversation with them. And I think it would definitely have a better response, because at this point, they're like, okay, I don't know who you are. Why are you calling me? And you don't even have a property to give me. Like, why am I on the phone with you? Yeah,
because a lot of times they always ask, like, just send me whatever you have. And I hate when people say that, because I honestly, when I hear that, I don't think they're honest. They're actual, like, serious investor, because you should have, in my opinion, criteria on what you're buying. If you're just buying anything, it's like, are you really an investor? Because what will happen a lot of times is I'll go, okay, send you anything. I'll send them a property, like, oh, no, I don't want that one. oh, I don't like that one either. Oh, no, I don't want that one. And I'm just like, then obviously you have a criteria. Like, you can't just say, oh, I don't have nothing. Just send me whatever you got. I send it to you, you tell me no. So tell me what you're looking for. So when I send you something, we figured a solution out.
I think the first call that I had yesterday went so well that it like kind of messed with my expectations for the rest of the calls, because I asked him what he was looking for, how much money you trying to make, all that stuff. He answered all my questions. He was like, this area, that area, and that's the one that did the survey.
Right. And
it was like after that, I got no other surveys, no other person really responded the same way, because then it's like I felt like the second person that I actually got on the phone I don't know if it's because he was a guy and I'm a female, whatever, but it was like a power dynamic thing that was going on there, where it's like, well, you know, like so what do you have? I'm asking him like, what are you interested in? He's like, well, what do you have? And it's like, you know, it's just not the best interaction.
I think he had asked her, is she in the area? And she was like, no, I'm in New York. And then she was like, I have a team in New York and in Atlanta. He's like, oh, it's gonna be more expensive than if you have a team here. And he was just doing that weird, trying to one up, trying to just I don't, like I said, again, me personally, don't mess with people like that. It just seemed very a weird thing for him to be doing. Because if somebody calls you, why are you trying to like win the conversation? I'm trying to give you money. I'm trying to make you money, and you trying to win the conversation. I don't understand that. Like, at that point, there's no skin in the game. You don't lose anything by having a regular human being conversation. I guess he just assumed that we were trying to, in some way,
I don't even know what.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, he thought we were gonna try and one up him in some way. I don't.
Maybe
understand.
He's a wholesaler himself.
That's what I think. When stuff like that happens, is that's why. And he's the same guy that says, "Send me whatever you have." Whenever somebody says that to me, I'm like, "You probably don't. You're probably a wholesaler." Because my experience, even when I was doing the survey, I have people on the list that just say, and this is why I hate Facebook. They just say, "Yeah, man, if you got something, send to me. If it's a good deal, I'll buy it." And I'm like, "What does that mean? What is a good deal? What does that mean?" Actually, one thing that he did bring up too. Was something called LTV. It's the mortgage amount divided by the value of it. So the mortgage amount would be whatever you buy the property at if you're not getting a mortgage, and that's supposed to be the LTV. And he said that he wants anything that's 50%, 40%, or 30% LTV. Now, I'm trying to understand more what that means, because my experience or my understanding is supposed to be that LTV does not include construction costs. But because it's a hard money lender, maybe it does include construction costs. So I don't know if he's saying that he wants construction plus the acquisition price to be 50% of ARV, which is what somebody else said before. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to keep looking into that more. Like I said, I have it on my dealinator, which I'm actually going to use later. We're going to look at a deal. You want to do one also?
Today? Mm-hmm. Oh, I mean, sure.
Yeah, so we're both going to look at one. Well, we're going to try and find a deal on here. Just to, like I said, to run our numbers on here. People who are new and want to kind of see how we do or what we do to find our numbers, we'll do that at the end of this video.
The criteria thing is really important, because it's like, and you have to ask them, what are they planning on doing with the properties? Are you planning on flipping it? Are you planning on just like doing a retail, not retail, doing a rental? Because depending on what their outcome or vision of the property is going to be, is going to decide how much renovation they put into it, which is then going to affect the ARV. Because the ARV that Donivan and I come up with is if you are selling this house for top dollar. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna fix the problems that the house has, whether that's foundation problems, whether that's it has a leaky ceiling or something like that, that's not putting in drop ceilings and other quick little fixes, just reglazing the tub real quick, but more or less we're expecting you to like really make it look nice or look like the comps that we found for the property. So if that's not what the investor envisions for the property, then it's like, they're not trying to get the top dollar for it. They're just trying to put some lipstick on it and then sell it. And it's like, those are different numbers than the numbers that I presented with you, because you're not going to present it to you, because you're not going to spend the same amount on rehab that I expected you to spend. So it's just...
Yeah, and it's funny because I actually have a friend, which is hilarious to me. He said he spent $17,000 on a renovation, and in that $17,000, he also added a bathroom. So... And this is why I always say, like, every investor is not the same investor. How on earth would I know that somebody would spend $17,000 and also add a bathroom in that renovation? How would I know that? Like, if I look at a property, I'm not looking at it with that mindset of like, okay, this property needs a bathroom. $17,000 worth of rehab. There's no way that plus the rest of the house is only $7,000. It doesn't make any sense. But this is why I always say find buyers. An example of how we see that they are a serious cash buyer and a non-serious cash buyer or a wholesaler is the person that Melissa said she called first. That person said, hey, I want to buy in these cities. They named like 6 cities. I spend this much, I spend that much, and they fill the survey out. So they have criteria they want to buy, right? So you have somebody like that who knows exactly what they're looking for. They know where they want it, how much they want to spend on it, what they want to do to it, how many square footage, bedroom, bathroom, and then you have the other person that goes, yeah, whatever you got, send me anything. And it's like, yeah, I don't take you seriously. I don't take you seriously as a buyer if you just say send me anything. You're one of the person that's probably hoping that if I give you a property that's $10 and the ARV is $1 million, then you're like, yeah, I'll take that. So like I said, when I hear that, that's my cue to go, nah, you're not a serious buyer.
Yeah, and I'm like, the only benefit I feel like out of that is maybe stumbling across a good deal that we send you, or you're gonna wholesale it to somebody else.
Right, and then you'd have the situation of daisy chaining, which people do not like because they don't want to get that statement at the end of the closing, and it says
you're paying 15 people.
Yeah, it says, oh, you got to pay an assignment fee, you got to pay another assignment fee, then you got to pay another fee and another. And you're like, why am I paying $30,000 in fees? What is that from? And now they're like, nah, this is kind of shady. So that was our experience with finding cash buyers yesterday. Last week I talked about trying to submit more actual offers, and I've talked about this before on here. I don't know how many episodes ago it was, where we thought that verbal offers were considered offers, and we talked about trying to submit more formal offers, and we were submitting more formal offers than we were at the time, because at the time we were just calling people and saying, hey, if your house is 140, we could do 120, we could do 100 and stuff like that. And they would say no. We're like, all right, bye, and we hang up, and that was it. So we were like, maybe that's not really considered an offer. So then we started trying to send in like some offer, like, okay, let's try and submit offers. And we kind of got good feedback, and by good feedback I mean we got responses. And I prefer somebody to say, hey, that price is too low, but they'll renegotiate, or they want to do this or whatever. I like that. Now I've decided, like, I'm going to send out a lot more offers, more formal offers, than I do verbal offers. That was how I was approaching last week. Was like, just send, if I'm running numbers on a property, whatever number I get back on it, send it out. Just send it out, send it out. And I would say that I do like the feedback that I'm getting from it. People are saying, no, that's too low. One person said that, hey, they won't take that because they've had higher offers. And I'm like, sure, whatever. But submit it, because what I think was happening before is when I would give a verbal offer, they wouldn't tell the person that they got that offer. So the reason why that's bad, in my opinion, is because now the owner doesn't know that somebody submitted an offer for probably the actual value of the house, or let's say $45,000 under the value of the house. Because when I do that, it resets the mind of the owner. Like, wait a minute, I keep getting these deals or these offers for $45K under asking. So what is that about? Like, it makes them think about it, as opposed to the agent never telling them that, and they just keep getting all these offers that are over listing, and they're like, yeah, somebody here is lying. I don't know who's lying, but somebody here is lying. And like I said, for the most part, investors know what a good deal is going to look like, and then you're going to have the fake people who go into the property and try and, or the not experienced people go into the property and will try and offer ridiculous amounts of money just for whatever reason. I you know, whatever their tactic or scheme is. So that's something that I've learned last week. Now, with that being said, because of Dealinator, and you'll see how it works when I'm done kind of going over last week's update, it returns a number like under 75%. And I was submitting deals last week of anything I got back. If I got back 57%, 60%, 68%, 72%, I'm submitting all of those formal offers to them. Now, what I plan to do is, I don't know if I've told you this before either, I'm only going to submit deals that are 80% and up. So if I run the numbers on something and it's not 80%, I'm not going to submit an offer to them. So there's that. And the last thing, two more things I want to talk about before I get into the Dealinator is submitting deals with an agent. I currently have an agent right now in Atlanta that I'm working with. I don't really know how good of an agent she is. I tried to do dual agency, and the person I guess I had called or emailed for the property might have been the broker or the realtor for that actual firm, like whoever owned that firm. I think I called her. So she told me to use another agent who I assume works underneath her as a dual agency. For dual agency. So I'm waiting to see what I hear back from that. But when I sent that email into her, the first person, she was like, nah, this is way too low. We're not accepting that. Funny enough, right? Because people, you might see Jerry do this too. An agent is not supposed to tell you what the other offers are that came in, right? And I find it to be so funny because I'll ask like, hey, what were they higher than listing, lower than listing? You know, where were we at on that, right? And they all say like, oh, I can't tell you that. Come on, it's against my legal obligation. I can't do that. And I'm like, all right, now I never looked into this, but I just assumed that's what it is. So here's why that's funny. Because whenever I submit an offer that's too low, bruh, every agent has no problem saying to me, oh my God, we got 4 offers over listing price. We can't take this one. We got too many. Every single time. Yep. They have no problem telling me that my offer is too low because other offers are higher than mine and higher than listing. But when I ask the question, like, hey, if I come in at 135, any offers higher than that? Oh, I can't. I wish I could tell you that, but I just can't. So.
And then after that, they're gonna hit you with the after they agree, like, all right, we could. I'm gonna tell them about the 135, and they're gonna be like, oh. So in the last 5 minutes, somebody came in $20,000 higher than you did. So
I forgot about this other thing I'm gonna say too. I am breaking news here. Okay, I feel like I'm in my newscast station. I am going to get my real estate license in Philadelphia and Atlanta because that is where I do most of my work. And as far as I know, I can do it online. And I really only want to do it for access to the MLS. The bonus of that in Philadelphia is that you can only wholesale with a license. Now, if you probably just hear this episode or just hearing this series, you can wholesale there without a license. Like everybody's doing it without a license, okay? However, it's a bonus that I'll have my license, so if anything does come up, I do have the authority to wholesale a property and get paid for it. But up to this point, I've been wholesaling there. Not getting deals though, but without a license.
Donivan just mentioned the MLS. If you don't know what that is, that's the multiple listings service or whatever. That's where real estate agents put up the properties. And a lot of the times when they put it up there, it's still technically off market. Yeah, right.
A lot of times it is.
You might see some off market properties before it hit the market, and then you might be able to swoop in there real fast, try to get it under contract before it's released to Zillow and Redfin and all that other stuff. Issue that real estate agents have is that they're typically working at a brokerage or under a broker, so all of the money that they make from their do you have to work under a broker to?
I think you do, but I don't think. Because I'm not buying or selling the property. I mean, here's the thing. This is another thing that I have to look into.
You're not marketing somebody else's property.
Not even necessarily that. I think cold calling is considered marketing. So me calling people to get them to buy is marketing. But I would pay them the percentage of my 3% commission.
Oh, okay, for writing up the but you wouldn't.
I don't have to pay them for wholesaling it. Right. Exactly. Listen. So I'm gonna get 3% plus the wholesale. Oh, look at that, killing it. But either way, so that's what I'm gonna start doing. Atlanta and Philadelphia. I have to put some money into that because, as you know, I don't really like this. I don't want to spend a lot of money.
Donivan likes to spend money on things that he feels like will benefit him. So this is right up his alley. Spending money.
We don't know that yet. It's too cheap, honestly. It's like $300. And if it was like $1,000, maybe I'd be like, oh yes, we need this.
Donivan spent $1,000 on the table. So don't underestimate his spending.
Anyways, the last but not least thing that I want to touch on, which is very short, it is called the Z price that Jerry talked about in his last video. At first I was kind of concerned by it, and if you don't know what it is, pretty much Zillow will now put their Zestimate that you see on there as the price that they will pay for it, right, for your house. So that means that you have a base price that somebody you know pay for the house. Now, at first I'm like, damn, they're just gonna be out here just buying properties all up crazy. Jerry said that they have a $75,000 loss on every property that they purchased, and they only right now are doing light rehabs on properties that they buy, and every property they do on average is a $75,000 loss. So the reason why I'm not as concerned about it as I was when I first started watching the video is because most times big companies who have a lot of money just throw the money at stuff and hope it's going to work. And he also said that they are going to go into your property and inspect it the same way anybody else would, and then to see if their numbers are right, which I think is hilarious, because at some point what's going to end up happening is, as we know, our estimate, or the estimate that we see on there, is probably going to be inaccurate. So a person that's trying to sell their house would be like, okay, my house is worth, $145,000 because that's what the estimate said, and Zillow will buy it at that price. Zillow will come in and be like, oh, well, we didn't know that there was a leak in the roof. We didn't know that there was that the foundation was messed up. We didn't know that there was mold. We didn't know all of that stuff. So we can't buy your house at that price. And I feel like at some point what's going to happen is that'll happen enough times, people just go, yeah, man, whenever Zillow tries to buy my house, they come in here and give me less from my house. I don't know why they always do that than its estimate price. I don't know why that happens all the time. So I'm not really concerned because, as Lili said recently, one of her Instagram posts is that the cream of the crop rises to the top. That's not cream of the crop. Oh, that was a bar. I didn't. Ooh, the cream of the crop rises to the top. So there you go. So now I will get into looking for a deal on the Dealinator. So you want to go first? You go first.
Like I said last time, what I personally like is I like to put in my filters first. So I'll go to recently sold.
Is that recording too?
Yes. I go to recently sold, and then I move my price to about I'm gonna do 450. I'm feeling frisky. I go to 460 or less, and then I move my other filter thing to about 200,000, 220. Now I personally like looking at 3 and up, and then at least 1.5 bathrooms, because those are the houses that typically deserve this price range. And then I'll take off apartments, manufactured or mobile homes, if you're not aware. Take off condos and co-ops. I don't really look at multifamilies, and I do not look at lots and lands. Because this is Atlanta, I'm gonna go to square. So I'm gonna change my square feet. The average square feet that I see for 3 beds and 2 baths is typically anywhere between like 1,000 to 2,000. That's really what I like to look at. And then I put a lot size on there. So my max lot size is gonna be no more than 0.25 acres, because they like to, in Atlanta, because there is more space. It's not like it's not the whole area is not, it's like a city like Philadelphia where people don't typically have a lot of land. You might get messed up because the houses, I've had a situation where I tried to get a house, I think like maybe 25K under asking, and they're telling me that, oh no, that's too low because the value is in the land, and you could split the lot into 2 lots, and once you split it into 2 lots, you can build another house on the other lot and then make the money from that. And the thing that they don't tell you when they give you that ridiculous ass scheme to make extra money is that they can deny splitting the lot. They could say that it's not up to code to build another house on it, so you'll spend extra money on that house for it to not even go through. And I think in another story, in another episode, we talked about what I think was Leandra's experience about how like it came down to the board's decision and they said no. So it's just like, that's ridiculous. Not doing that. I don't really look at the year built, but we're trying to avoid new constructions. But that's pretty, sold in the last, that's important too. I like to start off with sold in the last 90 days so I can see where the hot pockets are. So as you can see, this like area here has a lot of houses sold in the last 90 days for this price range that I'm looking at. So, and it's on both sides of the highway, which is good. I think the bottom half has more expensive homes, but the houses that I'm going to be looking for is going to be like, how do you say? It's going to be around like $100,000. That's what I'm looking to spend. So this kind of guarantees that if I find a house in this area for $100,000, I'm going to get returns of about 300, high 200, maybe low 400. And that's already going to be a good return on my investment. So what I do now is I'm going to take off the border that it has now, and I'm going to redraw it because right now it's only on Atlanta. I hate when it does that. I have to take a good look. Okay, so Washington Park area to West End area. That's what I'm drawing. Okay, because then it takes up the whole screen. It's like that's not what we was doing before. So I'm gonna apply it, and boom, I got most of the properties that I wanted here. So then now what I do is I change my filter, and I put for sale, and I open up all the way to the bottom. Oh wow, I was already looking in this area. That's how you know it's lit.
What house is that? That one. I feel like
165.
That Joseph one.
Let me see. Oops. No keywords. Oh, and then days on Zillow, I'm gonna change this back to any. So okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna go back to my filter. I'm gonna put this on 200. At like 200,000 at the highest, because like I said, I want to get the bottom of the barrel for this, so I could, you know, you want to get the worst houses in the best neighborhoods. I keep hearing that, so I'm gonna say it right now. So there's this one here. That's 165. So right now, oh, and then I know it might be like a bit discouraging, because you might see like I just went from how much houses, like maybe like 50 or something houses in this area. Let me see. I went from like 20 something results down to 5. But that's what you're looking for. You're looking for it to be very precise, because you want to have a criteria like we were talking about earlier. So what I like to do now, I like to just go through the houses. So this first one says it's a new construction, and like I just said, we try to stray away from that. I think they just made a mistake because this is not a new construction. This is not what a new construction looks like. A new construction is a brand new house. This house is boarded up. Honestly, they're probably trying to hint to the fact that you would have to tear this down and make it a new construction. That's the only thing that I can make sense of. So it says hurry, great investment opportunity, 3 bed, 2 bath, 2.5 bath design, almost complete with permitting, major renovation on streets, so houses are selling fast. So this next house here is,
I've seen that one.
what is this? It's near the belt line. This is a house that's to the studs. So if you ever come across that, that's a house that's literally like just bones. No walls, no paint, no appliances, no, just bones. So this would be a good investment for someone that wants to start from the bottom. However, this is saying that it has an expired permit and code violations. So fixing the code violations and getting those permits may be expensive and take some time. I like this one. So this is a house that I would go for, because it has,
What's that?
this is 1321 Sharon Street. So I would go for this one because it has a fireplace. I noticed that there's a crack on the wall next to the fireplace, and it's a straight line crack. I don't know, I'm making stuff up. I can't tell if that's a foundation or a settling issue. It might, because it's straight like that, but I have to double check, because I don't know if Donivan said it on here, but in order to be like a wholesaler, you have to do everything. You have to be a carpet, like what is it?
You get a contractor, you gotta be an appraiser, you gotta be a lender, you gotta be an investor, a real estate agent.
So now I'm putting on my contractor hat, because I'm like, that's a big ass crack. I don't know why it's there, what's for. So there's that. The flooring looks good. I feel like it could be restained or polished or whatever, and it'll look nice. The paint, the house just needs to be repainted. The tile doesn't necessarily look bad on the fireplace, but that could just be retiled. The kitchen is outdated, so we'll switch out the cabinets. The beam on the ceiling looks like it's like off the wall a little bit, like there's a crack or something. So that's something to take a look at. But these cabinets look like they have to go, in my opinion. I wouldn't necessarily keep those. And the hood of the stove and everything just look old. Bathroom look old, need to be repainted. Might be able to keep and reglaze the tub, maybe. But it depends on what kind of renovation the person is going for. And I think it looks like it's some type of popcorn ceiling or something. People don't really like that, so I have to scrape that off. The windows look fine, more or less. So it's just an ugly looking house. It doesn't look like it needs like major renovations. I would just be, and it's brick. Brick houses get more money for it. So this would not be a bad house at all. So my favorite house right now is this one here that is going for $165,000. So now I'm gonna go ahead and fill out Donovan's dealinator. So I'm gonna copy my address, and then that's pretty much it. So right now this house is selling for 140 square feet. Now what I would do is I would go into PropStream. Type in my address, click on it from there, go to details, and then I would go to comparables and nearby listings. So what I like to do here is match my bedrooms. I might do a 3 and a 4, because 3.2s and 4.2s have similar layouts. But a 3.1 and a 4.2 will not have a similar layout. You can't do that with that. And I'm gonna go ahead and put 1.5 to 2, because sometimes the bathrooms are if a 1.5 is still kind of considered 2 bathrooms, even though it doesn't have a shower or whatever. So I put that in there. And then what's this? So yeah, so the square feet for the house is going to be in between 900 and 1300. So you don't really want to go over 300 over or 300 below the property. So I'm going to go into Google Maps and see what the house looks like, because normally they have that on the listing. Excuse me. So okay. So yeah, the curb appeal is not there. So I would probably spend money like that on that. Or maybe it's this house. It's this house. Oh, okay. This is like a landscaping. That's a big ass tree. You think they would want to cut the tree down? So it's very important to see the exterior of the house, because whether or not it's brick or siding affects how much you'll get for it. Then you'll be able to see what the roof looks like. Does it need to be replaced? And these are the questions that I would ask on the phone when I call the agents, and it makes me more credible and makes me seem like I know what I'm talking about, and it relates to them that I'm an investor as opposed to like a wholesaler, because wholesalers mostly care about the price and lowering the price and stuff like that, as opposed to me getting on the phone with them and actually caring about like what's going to happen to the property or having a vision as to what I'm going to do with it, because then I can have a conversation with them about it. There's a house how far is this? 0.1 miles away. That sold for $270,000. So we're gonna take a look at this house. Oh, it's brick. I don't know. It looked kind of similar to my house. What you think, babe? It was kind of similar.
Yeah.
So this one would be a decent comp. It looks like a similar. Yeah. It's giving me the same vibes. They both have a little porch on the side. They might not be the exact same structural type. Like I guess one might be a ranch and one might be a something else. What's the other one called?
I forgot what the other one is called.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't think that's a ranch though.
But
I think that's a bungalow.
Yeah, it's definitely two. This one might be traditional. That might be a bungalow or something.
Traditional usually has 2 stories, and then the bungalow, the ranch is usually long.
Oh, okay. So that's another thing you'll kind of get into too, knowing the types of houses it is, because that also affects like the comps that you look at, because they might be like, oh, but this one's a ranch and this one's a So you just have to have that vocabulary down to be able to have those conversations. So this is looking like it got a fireplace in there too. And it looks like similar. It looks like a similar kind of layout to the one that we have. So honestly, yeah, very. It even has the same like floor vents and all of that. And the cabinets definitely look new. So this is definitely, what they put in a barn door? They fancy. This bathroom is, that's an interesting double vanity. I would put, that's interesting. I would still put the space in the middle, but ooh, that's a nice looking shower. And they got the cut in detail.
Yeah, took out the tub.
Okay, they tried with this one. It's not as nice in my opinion. I don't like the black grout. In my opinion, it makes it look, I think they're trying to make a contrast, but it looks kind of dirty to me. But maybe it looks different in person. But other than that, this is definitely a nice looking house, and it looks similar to the one that we have here. So I'm gonna go ahead and use this as my my comp. So we might be able to get more for our house than they got for theirs, because ours is a 3-2 and theirs is a 4. Ours is a 4-2 and theirs is a 3-2. I'm gonna put 4 and 4, just so it can be as close to my property as possible, and see what happens. I can't tell if this is a flip or if it's good pictures. It's kind of a flip. I don't know. This looks dated to me.
Well, it's owner occupied too, so.
So yeah, if it's owner occupied, it's probably not a flip.
No, I mean they sold it to the person that bought it, so that might. Okay, yeah, that could be a flip. They had it for 9 months.
Where's this at? This is 2.2 miles away. I feel like that's real cheap, but I'm gonna throw it in there anyways because I want my numbers to be.
They did new paint, new HVAC system, new floors, bathroom towels. They didn't do like
a reno.
Yeah, they just did new steel appliances. They did cabinets, countertops, paint, floors, and bathroom towels, gutters, and that kind of stuff.
And this is what I mean, where it's like, depending on what they do to the property, really affects what you can, the amount of money you can make off of it. So I'm gonna put it back to 3-4. I'm only gonna look for 4 comps. So this one definitely looks like it's been renovated, it's staged. So.
You want to press record again?
I wasn't using it. I just noticed that it was off. So this one looks like a nice flip. Staged and everything, so I'm gonna use this one. Okay. So boom, there's that. So these were bought cash, so they're probably going to be fix and flips and not actually renovated. So the next house I'm going to look at is this one. Ooh. Now this one has a garage. Our house does not have a garage like that. But it looks like it was once something that looked like our house-ish. But this looks like rendering. This looks like they, okay, I know what they did. They added the, they CGI staged it. So some of this stuff is not actually there. That's a big ass sink. This is a nice flip. Very nice flip. Somebody put their foot in this. So, and I wonder if they built in that driveway somehow. I don't know if I want to use that one as a comp. Because of that garage situation. Yeah, I'm not going to use that one. I'm going to use this next one. This one is also a flip. All the appliances look new. Everything looks new. Got an island and everything. It looks very modern. This one sold for $235.
The 100K YouTube already?
It's not. This one's $296. Okay.
It's a good one.
I think so too. Has a garage.
And you have a driveway, so I guess you can put a garage in the back.
Because covered spaces are good. People like those. So I'm gonna take this one. So very close in square footage to my subject property, and that's all the information I put in. So typically once you fill out all 6, that's when you'll get the number here for the average, but I'm not doing that. So the average here is 238. So what I do now is I put that into my buy formula. That's 238, right? And now I'm gonna look at my property again. I'm trying to see what kind of rehab this is gonna be. Is it gonna be light, heavy? What we looking like? So I think this pretty much is like an average rehab. I would have to call them and see what's up with this line, with this crack, because if there's foundation issues that changes things, it's probably gonna be a heavy. So I'm gonna say somewhere in between heavy and light on this one. And I think the roof needs to be replaced.
Heavy and light. Yeah,
somewhere in between there. So I have to see what the thing. So this Donivan added this in, which I think is really cool. So this is a rehab estimate. So you can put in light. It'll give you an estimate with the price per foot. With the price per foot, what is it? Rehab price per foot. That's for that area.
Yeah.
So on average, a light rehab.
I wouldn't say for the area. I would just say it's just general.
Oh, okay. So average rehab price per foot, a light one would be about 17,000, close to 18,000 for this square footage for 1180. Average would be 41, so about close to 42. Heavy would be 70, right? So like I said, I'm thinking in between heavy and average. So that's between 40 and 70. I'm gonna go halvesies. So that's probably gonna be like, that's a 30K, so that's looking like 55, right? So I'm gonna put in custom. It says non-evitable here, and then I enter my custom renovation over here, so it's gonna put 55 because I'm doing halvesies, and that's my renovation cost that I'm estimating. So my 5% wholesale fee is also in here. Sorry, my $5,000 wholesale fee is also here, and then you can also see the closing costs, carrying costs, and all of that is also accounted for in the formula. Now the ARV that they're saying that this is going to be is 280, right? So I'm going to scroll up, and we are going to see how much percentage of a deal this is. So, and it's a deal at 91%.
Well, you gotta buy that.
So okay. So to see what I have to buy it at, right? I would come down here. So there's a 70%, 75, and 80. 80 is max. 70 is the lowest. No. Yes. 70 is the lowest price that I can buy this for. 80 is the max I can buy this for. So
I wouldn't say it's the lowest, but it's just you can buy it for less than that if you want to.
Oh, I mean, this is the lowest that most investors, I mean, yes, if you could get it lower than 70%, do that. But they typically aren't gonna be rocking with that. So right now, in order for this to be a 70% investment, I would have to get this house for $136,000. Let's say 137,000, right? They're selling the house for $165,000. So that's about $30,000 off of what they're selling it for. Now, when people list their houses on Zillow and whatnot, when they list the house in general, they typically list it for higher than they want to. Then higher than it's worth, so they can see what price they can get. So this is the loan to value, 50%.
Yeah, I just added that. I think that's how. I think it's working, but that's what the guy said he wants.
Oh, that's wow. So what else is here? So what's cool about this is 75%, which is typically in the middle, and investors would still be happy with this number. I would have to get this house at 150,000. Now that's only $15,000 off from what they say they want for the property. Now that's easier to talk. It's easier to talk them down 10, 15,000. It's harder when you get to 50,000. Like, okay, I know you listing this for 150,000, but I need this for 70,000. Can that work? That's less than half of what they are looking for the property. So these numbers are easier to get to. And then as you can see with the 80%, which more investors, they'll be more hesitant to go with the 80% because they make less money on it, but it depends on how much they want to make on the deal. Because the higher, what is it? Yeah. The more expensive the house is or the ARV is, the more money you get out of it in general, as opposed to if you're getting something for 50K and then trying to flip it to an ARV that's 100K and you still have to put 30K into it. You only really make it 20,000. They don't really like that. Or do they? 25? I think 25 and up.
This is what I talked about earlier with the cash out refinance, because Maya was saying that that's how much his profit was, something like that. But he put in 20K, so he got back 30,000. He did a cash out refinance.
Got you. So this number plus whatever they put in as a deposit. Okay.
Right. So if you put this in, if you get this out plus your 30, you make that's 67 you get out to spend again.
Gotcha. So then 80% probably isn't bad for some investors either, because like Donivan said, they're still getting their initial money that they put in as a deposit, and they get to keep the profit on this, which would be about 10,000. And these numbers are including my $5,000 wholesale fee.
Yeah, and a 15% cost, which is actually kind of high.
Wow. Okay. So this is looking like it would be a reasonable. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So at 80%, we would have to get this house for 164, which is asking price. Literally asking price. I can get this house at asking price, and it would still be able to wholesale it, and the person would still make $10,000 if the renovation is accurate and if the ARV is accurate, which I think it is.
My methodology is definitely different than Melissa's. However, I do like her methodology a lot more than mine, because I feel like when I use keywords don't always return back properties that would be good for an investor to buy. They usually only give back properties that the agents are trying to get rid of really quickly. So normally what I'll do is I do mine like this. I'll just go to Philadelphia and reset the settings to reset, and then I like to do the last day. The reason I do the last day is because what I've realized is the quicker you could get a contract in, the better chance you have. So I want to see what came out the most recent, and try and submit an offer on that one. Investor. Oh, we got TLC. Okay, we found one right here. So I just put TLC in my description, and this one came up in a market for 14 hours. Okay, so yep, I'm going with that one. Middle market for 14 hours. So now I'm gonna see if it's a deal. It's 10,000 square feet. It's a 3-2 CANN. Normally I do for my comps, I'll go straight to the area first on Zillow, and then I go by 7 days. So now, what's sold here in the last 7 days? So I put the address in the search. What I've noticed with Zillow is they'll put, if you don't know where your property is, they'll put it right in the middle of the screen. Like if you go to recently sold and you can't find yours, it's right in the middle of the screen. And then I'll kind of hone in more when I get more properties. So now recently sold, this is a 3-2, 1.5, and up. So this property sold, it's 115, it's sold for. This one is a rental, bringing in $900 a month. So I'm not gonna use that. Changing my filter to, check off lots, multi-family, condos, townhomes, I leave townhomes and apartments, because sometimes I feel like they will put certain houses as townhomes even though they're not. Yeah, put my max at 1,500, and I'm going to put it at 90 days. So now we got some stuff here. All right, I'm gonna come a little bit closer. So we got something for 170 in the last 90 days. There's no pictures. I'm gonna come back to that later. 76. This has pictures. This is a rehab. Who says a rehab? I can't tell. I feel like it's. Nah, it's not a rehab. I'm gonna check the description, but I don't think this is a rehab. It may be updated somewhat,
Yeah,
but it's
it
not
looks
a
like an
rehab.
updated home.
Yeah.
But that's probably not a bad comp. It's not a terrible comp, but
It says well maintained, new owners. It says updated eating kitchen includes an upgraded European oven hood, newer cabinetry. Yeah, they updated the kitchen. It seems like, which is what I thought. So I would take that as a comp. If you want to do a light rehab, you know you could get 176 for a light rehab on this property. 40, 32. All right, so there's that one. This one is sold for 150. Let's see what this is about. This is not a flip. This one is 160. No pictures. So these that are 170, I'm gonna put them on Realtor and Redfin. This has no pictures on this one. So, oh, Realtor has pictures. Okay, there we go. This is a renovation, I think. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Let's see what the description says. The kitchen looks like it's been updated, but everything else I can't really speak on. So I think they did something here, but what they did I can't tell. Oh, see, completely rehab, beautiful. Yeah, they did something here. All right, so that is a comp. 3-2. And then let's see, the other one is this one for 160. I'm going to check on Redfin. No, really. Actually, I should check the description first, but I think this is a rehab. One thing I learned from Jerry C. Boom. It's a secret right here. You see the oven still has a little thing on it. That means this is a new oven. They just redid this. They got the little yellow paper.
You know, they got the blue John.
The blue tape still on the thing. That's how rehab. Boom, 160. So like I said, this is what I can already tell in this area. The ARV is going to be around the 170 mark. That's what it seems like just by looking at these first three. This is, I don't know what that is. Actually, I'm not going to discount it because normally I'll just be like, fuck it, I'm not going to look at it, but I'm going to be fair to everybody. Oh, here it is. Oh, see? Ooh, renovation? Nah, I don't think so. What would you say? Nah, hear that? See that? Still got magnets.
That's a white fridge.
Yep.
That's not be like, you got magnets on your fridge.
I'm sad. I mean, that's how you know it's not renovated because it's too personal. Now I'm not gonna put a magnet on my new fridge that I just put in my renovation. Why would I do that?
You switch out the fridge.
They got this up here though.
It's a new hood, but the stove look old.
But no, I'm saying, why would you put if I renovated a house? Why would I'm not living there. I'm gonna put a magnet on the fridge. It's a brand new house. Why would I do that? It's not my house. I don't live here. I'm not gonna put a magnet on there. Yeah.
But I mean, like just because that's my thing. Just because it's not fully renovated doesn't mean it's not renovated. So it's just kind of like, are you still gonna use it? It's like to what degree was it renovated? Because there you might see a house that looks old, but somewhere along the line they got their bathroom redid.
This says walk into a newly remodeled kitchen, lovely wood floors. So what that tells me, ceiling fans in addition. The basement has a separate door, totally remodeled. So this was a very light rehab. So that's if you want to do a light rehab, you can get 140. And a light rehab on this property would be, let me just do the math on what does this say a light rehab would be? A light rehab on this property would be $15,000, which would get you 140. So if I got this property at 100,000 and then put 15 into it, maybe that would be something. But I'm gonna keep doing the numbers because that's not how we operate on the Bamboo Project. We do nice flips. So Zillow. Now I'm gonna go back to this. I'm going to do 6 months. See, now we got 165. See, look at me. Look at that 181. Ooh. Damn, is it flip? Yeah, this is definitely. See, you see on this right there? See a little sticker? Boom, rehab. Taking it, and this one looked like it was a average. Put a little bit of money into this one. 3-2. Yeah, so I'm very confident with these numbers that. I mean, if I want to come over here, whatever it is, crossing the street and stuff, that's unnecessary because we already have some. But here we go. So then we're gonna see what we got here. So one thing also that I like to do is I'll take all of the average of the prices. The prices down here says 171,750. So I'll take that up here. Boom, 171,750. Right here, price per square foot 164. And then I also take these price per square foot right here. Come back down here, 164. Look at that. Look at that. They the same? That never happens. That never happens ever. That's my first time ever seeing both of these be the same thing. And why is this number different though? Oh, it's probably because it's an average. This number is probably like 164, 1. This one's probably 164 exactly. That makes sense. So let me see. Let me go back a decimal. What this one say? Yeah, 164 point. Yeah, see, I knew it. They rounded it up. So we are going to see what the ARV is. Now let's go back to the property and we're gonna see what it looked like, and then we're gonna see what kind of renovation it needs. I say average. I don't really see nothing. It looks, I mean, damn, this walls are fucked up. But I'm gonna go with average. They got kids in there. They got, these walls got to be redone. Doors got to be redone. Probably keep the floor. I don't really see anything crazy on the ceilings. Bathrooms, got to do new tile on the floor, new backsplash. But yeah, I'm gonna say average on this. I'm gonna be honest. Just about looking at this, I'm gonna say this is a deal. Just about looking at it, I feel like I could tell this is a deal. But let's see. What do you think?
That this is a deal.
See, I think this would be a new thing on here. Like trying to see, is it gonna be a deal?
Is it a deal? Is it a deal? I don't know. Let me see. Cause all right. Cause I remember the buy price is like 120, right?
125.
And then so they want 40K basically in renovations.
Yeah.
That's what we already got 160. So trying to think. If we get this down 20K. That's gonna be then let's say the bar price is 100,000. And then you add the 40,000 renovation. That's 140. So that's about 40 gross that's left over.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
I mean, the expenses.
Yeah. So
I think it's gonna be like 78.
It might be on the cusp of being a deal. It might say
NA because it's so close. So here we go.
Let's see.
Oh.
No.
I didn't put numbers in yet. I didn't put the numbers in.
Donivan.
Big reveal. Alright, here we go. 70. Ooh.
Okay. See, on the cusp.
So now, what I would do with this one is, right? This is the 70% rule. So I'm going to look at 75% of this. Because that's what I see in Philadelphia. People buy 75%. So 75% have to buy this property at $87,000. And as you guys saw before you guys saw this, that everybody in this area is buying at 96 or 86 or whatever the case might be. So I'd have to be somewhere between 78 and 87, and that's for with my wholesale fee of $5,000. So it's looking like it's not a deal. Oh, wait a minute. Let's check the rental rate in this area.
There's multiple ways to foot the deal.
So now for me, I don't really like using Zillow for rentals. I'm gonna go on what's that thing called? Go Section 8. Okay, they can do that. Yeah, they got one. 885. So it seems like so far this is not a deal. Not even a deal. Now my brain is telling me right now like you could make this a deal. See, problem. I feel like you should try using my method. I mean, listen, I like your method. I think your method is good. Now, what I did right now, I'm like, this is a deal. Is it? Isn't it?
What? No, it's absolutely not a deal. What's the deal?
Okay, I hear what you're saying, right?
Do you?
Okay, now hold on. Wait. One more thing before. Damn. That's already up there. Yeah, man. This one's not hitting. I thought it was gonna have one. It ain't. I ain't get one. So I leave this one alone. I see. That's my thing, right? Do you think that I should at least offer the 78 though? Even though I said I was not gonna do anything under 80% offers.
So no. I'll stick to your word.
Alright, man. So y'all already see this one. I have to let it go. If y'all like it, y'all think it's a deal, y'all can go out there and submit an offer on it. And let me know if you get one, because if you do, I'm gonna tell Melissa that now. I'm gonna submit more offers at this price. So with that being said, Bamboo Project out.